man of deep Catholic faith, and this church is a historical church. The president-elect will be the second Catholic to be elected president. The first, of course, John Kennedy, and this is actually where Jacqueline Kennedy held President Kennedy's funeral mass after he was assassinated. And they are holding mass here today prior to the inauguration of Joe Biden. And we have been saying all along, and you can't overstate it, just how different this particular inauguration is for reasons relating to the pandemic, and also just the extraordinary circumstances that we find ourselves in politically right now. So you've got on the left side of your screen the outgoing president, and on the right side of your screen, that is the motorcade for the incoming president as he heads to church prior to his inauguration today, where he will take the oath of office along with Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. You see the crowd of supporters there out on the tarmac at Joint Base Andrews, waiting for Air Force One to take off. Listening, there the plane is pulling off, so it is headed to Palm Beach. Let's head over to our Angie Andrews, who is there in Palm Beach and has been reporting and talking to the president's supporters about how they're feeling right now. And Angie, he talked about his 75 million voters. He told them we will be back in some form. I'm not sure anybody knows quite yet what to expect that means. But what have you heard from his supporters who maybe feel like those who have criticized this president over the years, and particularly laying blame at his feet for what happened at the Capitol on the 6th, who maybe these supporters might feel like they have been painted with too broad of a brush, that there's a lunatic fringe to every movement, and to sort of be painted as everyone who supports the president is a bigot, is a racist, is a white supremacist, feeling that, you know, they're being ostracized right now because of what happened. How are they feeling about the events of the past couple of weeks?
You know, Holly, I'm really glad you asked that question. I asked a very similar question to actually a group of supporters that's right over here to my side just a couple of minutes ago, who were watching President Trump's speech on the live stream, and they said they loved that he said, "We love you and we'll see you soon." Again, that's kind of cryptic. We don't know what that means. But these particular supporters told me that today they feel is a really sad day for them. They also feel like they've been ostracized and looked at in a bad light, when in reality they said they just love their president and they love the work he's done when it comes to policy, when it came to tax cuts. One particular person said when it came to abortion, there were many different policies that they just really respect what he's done, and they want to say thank you. And that's something I heard from every supporter I talked to. Said, why are you out here in the sun? Why are you out here for hours beforehand, you know, in large groups, to be honest? Not particularly safe for anyone at this matter. And I said he needs to know how much he's loved, and they want to just say thank you for what he's done, and they believe that that's the welcome that he deserves around, you know, noon time today when he drives into Mar-a-Lago. So that's what I've been hearing on and off, Holly. We know that they are, you know, getting ready for him to be here. I would say at this point, just looking around, I can probably count about 20 or so supporters out here. Those I spoke to yesterday said they'd be out here right around 9:30. So I think by the next time that we check in, it's going to be a much different picture here by the time that Trump comes driving down Southern Boulevard. I mean, I think we're going to see almost that same energy that we just saw at his final speech with, you know, the I love you and, you know, the yelling, because that's what the group here I've spoken to says that they're planning to do as soon as they see the motorcade start.
And they'll be doing that greeting and then that welcome to Florida about the same time that the president-elect will be inaugurated. Angie, thank you for that. I know you'll be watching as that happens. Let's go back now and continue talking to Josh here about the day ahead as we are watching Air Force One get ready to take off. Last time the president will be on Air Force One as he heads to Florida and leaves Washington, D.C. Mitch McConnell, Josh, who is with the president-elect right now, also said yesterday that no party, neither party, Democrat or Republican, was given a broad mandate in 2020. That's going to be an ongoing theme that we're going to see in Washington, D.C. How do you expect these, this new day dawning in Washington, D.C. To go? I mean, this president-elect has a big agenda ahead of him. He wants to get immigration reform right away. He's got almost a $2 trillion COVID-19 stimulus plan. How is D.C. going to govern?
It's a very good question, and I should note, I think, Holly, I'm 99.9% sure that as this plane is departing, we were hearing the soundtrack, which was Frank Sinatra's My Way, a wonderful song. I just thought that it was interesting color to note. Look, the Senate will be divided 50-50. It will be divided 50-50 as of, I believe it's going to be either later today or tomorrow. It hasn't been publicly released when the two winners of the recent runoff in Georgia, John Ossoff and the Reverend Raphael Warnock, are going to be sworn in. At that point, if there's any tie, like who will be the leader, Kamala Harris, who will in a little bit less than 3 hours, will be the vice president, will be able to break that tie as president of the Senate. It is not a broad mandate for either party, that's true. In the House, actually, Republicans have gained seats, and Nancy Pelosi only recently was reelected as House Speaker by a narrow majority. So there's going to have to be compromise for sure. What's also interesting, and this gets back to what we were speaking about before, is that the Republican Party is split, and we'll have to see if there's going to be compromises for Democrats, or if there's going to be more of a towing the line to staying more of an obstructionist party.
All right, Josh, as you're talking here, we're just watching as the president flies away to Mar-a-Lago on Air Force One. And yes, you're absolutely right. You pointed out that Frank Sinatra's My Way was playing as that happened. No doubt that was by design, and that was a song that we've heard at countless rallies before the president would come out and take the stage. That's a song that he identifies with, and one thing that whether you are completely against this president or you support him 100%, he did do things his way, for the better or for the worse, depending on how you look at it. And the fact is, in this country, is you have two groups of people who look at that question very differently. How did the president govern? What does he leave behind? We are a shining light of democracy to the world. We always have been that shining light on a hill to hold up the values of democracy. And unfortunately, right now, that capital, the nation's capital, is locked down and secure. We're going to see an inauguration today, unlike any we have ever seen before, in many ways, and in terms of the security right now to keep people out are not going to be able to attend, and it's going to be a visual reminder today of the divisions that exist in our country. We will be following it all for you live here on Spectrum News. We invite you to join us again at 11 o'clock when we start our special coverage of the inauguration of Joe Biden. Stick with your local channel. We will have our team of experts throughout the day, starting at 11 a.m. on this very historic Inauguration Day.
Snow across the northern half of the state as we had some snow showers develop yesterday throughout the overnight hours, but finally seeing a lot of that taper on off this morning. And as we head toward the afternoon, some of us further south are going to get lucky, seeing a better chance for some sunshine and clouds thinning out, especially for areas across southern Ohio. Doesn't matter where you are throughout the state today, it will be a cold day, and this is pretty much our big weather story as we head throughout your Wednesday afternoon. Most of us are going to be dry for today, a little cloudier further north, and we'll have a better chance for some of those clearing skies further south. But temperatures from north to south, it is cold. Most of us right now still only in the 20s, and because of winds are out of the west-northwest direction, we've got wind chills as low as the teens to 20s. And this is the number you want to pay attention to even as we head toward the afternoon, because again, it will be a cold day. We are going to be tracking those wind chills pretty much in the teens and 20s all afternoon long. I'm going to break down more of your local forecast coming up and your next Weather on the Ones.
Thank you, Robin.
Here's a look at your Wednesday morning headlines. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services is now issuing $300 payments to eligible unemployment claimants following a new system programming update. The distribution is made possible by the Federal Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. Claimants will receive 11 weeks of supplemental weekly payments. Those payments will be retroactive to December 27, 2020, to ensure all eligible claimants will receive their full compensation benefits. To see if you're eligible and for further updates, you can visit jfs.ohio.gov/CAA. 96% of Ohio's public school districts are agreeing to return to buildings at least partially by March 1st. This according to Governor Mike DeWine. Governor DeWine saying that date is contingent on school districts being supplied with coronavirus vaccine doses. The projected timeline for vaccinations to begin for school staff